Welcome everybody, my name is Lida Liberopoulou and today I'm going to do something different from what I usually do. I'm going to answer viewer questions, or rather comment on a viewer comment, I guess. This is an experiment, more or less, so let's see how it goes. So the first comment I'm going to comment on comes from viewer Powerpill and it was left on my Pentiment Easter eggs video. Powerpill makes a connection between Sister Amalie in the game and the historical figure of Jeanne de Anges, who appears to share some physical characteristics and behaviors with her. Well, yeah, I agree. There is a connection between Sister Amalie and Jeanne de Anges, although a rather superficial one. Of course, first I should explain who these people are. Sister Amalie is a nun that lives in a sealed cell right next to the church of the town where the game takes place. She's a Christian mystic. She sees visions. She has hallucinations. She also has a distorted spine. And she's able to contort her body in ways that allows her to travel within the tunnels underneath the town. She's also a very important character within the game. Jeanne de Anges was involved in the Possessions of Loudun. This was a bizarre case that happened in France in 1632 in an Ursuline monastery where the nuns claimed to be possessed by demons. It was so famous at that time that people from all over Europe came to see the nuns being exorcised and behave in bizarre ways. Jeanne was the monastery's prioress. She was also the first to show these symptoms and also the one with the most intense symptoms of possession. She also claimed to have visions of saints and angels, and also she had disabilities like a hunchback, she had a withered hand and walked with a limp. And here's where the similarities between Amalie and Jeanne end. Amalie lives her life inside her secluded cell. She's very honest about her visions and her faith. She's a very pious and very pure character. Jeanne, on the other hand, was more interested in climbing the convent's hierarchy and was quite worldly in a way. She was also responsible for the entire Loudun incident because she was obsessed with the local priest. Also, she was a bit of a fraud. When the incident ended, she did a tour of France to show the stigmata on her hands and her feet. And it turns out, based on some accounts, that these stigmata were quite easy to smudge and erase. There's also a very sexual element surrounding the events of Loudun, which have absolutely nothing to do with the Sister Amalie and the events of the game. I should also talk a bit about Ken Russell's The Devils, mentioned in the comment. It was inspired by a book by Aldous Huxley called The Devils of Loudun and happens to be one of the most controversial movies ever made. Even today, it's quite difficult to find the uncut version, and especially in the UK, where this is still in the lists of the British Board of Film Classification. The only thing I can tell you about it is that if you want to see nuns doing certain things on the statue of the crucifix, this is the movie for you. I haven't seen it. I know of its existence because it's mentioned extensively in the documentary Dear Censor that talks about the history of the BBSC. If you want to learn about the history of censorship in Britain specifically, I highly recommend it. Well, that's about it. If you think that this type of video is interesting and you want to see more of them, please leave a comment here or in one of the previous videos I made about history in video games. Thank you for watching, and ave atque vale.